All right, so the first question is, why do you think that tuition is so high?
I would say that it's due to a few different reasons. And I think that's a question that a lot of people are still trying to figure out in a lot of ways. One reason that a lot of people talk about is the decreased state funding over the years. So basically, when you look at state appropriations specifically to public institutions and how they've decreased over the last several decades, a lot of people I know point to that as one of the reasons why tuition has steadily increased as well. But I would say, in addition to that, technology has really changed over the last few decades. And so, certainly, with keeping up to date with technology and purchasing new technology, I know has certainly been an increased cost for institutions. And I really believe the final reason has to do with the staffing that is now considered necessary at universities and colleges, as well as the services that students want. Nowadays on college campuses, what you see is sometimes full scale counseling services. You see a lot of staff members who are in charge of student activities. You see really up to date recreational centers and that sort of thing. Students a lot of times will want, reasonably so, they'll want up-to-date buildings, and they want, obviously like good technology to work with, and all of those things put pressure on the university to hire more staff and continually update their facilities. And so sometimes it becomes a race to arms as far as being competitive with other colleges and universities, as far as being able to attract students and being constantly vigilant about purchasing new services and hiring new staff to meet all of the needs.
Okay. The second question is, the higher the tuition, does that mean an increase in your pay rate?
I would say that I've been here for about a year, a little over a year now, and there has never been a direct correlation that's been explained to me as far as tuition has increased here and pay goes here, or pay has increased this much. I would say that there tends to be an expectation that there's going to be cost of living increases and different sort of raises for staff who do well, and tuition tends to raise a little bit every year. So there very well might be a correlation, and particularly if you have long-standing staff who are here from year to year. But whether that's a direct correlation has never been outright stated or explained.
Okay. Third question, have you had any students come to you and not be able to register for class because it was too high, because the cost was too high?
I would say that students are able to register for classes, but the number of classes that they're able to take sometimes is not the number that they want to take. So a lot of students will say only register for 12 credit hours because they can't afford to pay for 15 credit hours. And incrementally that does make a difference in terms of a student's graduation date. So basically, if they can only take 12 credit hours every semester, that might mean that overall they have to extend their graduation at the end of their entire term, which could be the opportunity cost of maybe like not going to work one semester earlier than they anticipated could definitely mean a loss of earnings for them over time. But yeah, I would say that students are more likely to not be able to afford as many classes as they want, but I've never had a student come to me and has not been able to pay for classes at all.
Okay. And the final question, what advice would you give to students who are struggling to pay for tuition?
I would say a few different things. If it's a high school student or somebody who's maybe at the community college currently, I would say working and being able to save as much money as possible before you go on to the university is definitely helpful. I would say for current students who are in the university, my major pieces of advice would be to talk to their advisor just to see if they can somehow afford more classes, if they were able to take classes at the community college, or if there's any other options out there for them that they might not be aware of. And probably my final suggestion is just force students to really be aware of their GPA and try to keep their GPA as high as possible, just because there are different scholarship opportunities, but a lot of students don't qualify for them just because they might not have the eligible GPA to apply. So if more students were able to be competitive for those scholarships, then that would definitely offset their costs for graduation, or for college, I should say.
Okay.